Hello, we are now starting in topic 10, so this is the first lesson. We're going to be learning about ratios. We'll start off with the launch problem, just try your hardest, and then we will move on to the example problems.
A gift shop sells boxes of fruit online, including this box of apples and pears. Use numbers to compare the fruit in 3 different ways.
There are many possible solutions for this launch problem, but here are 3 comparisons that Digits shows us that you can pause the video and read through so that you have an understanding of what we're going to be doing. Moving on to our introduction of ratios.
A ratio is a relationship in which for every X units of one quantity, there are Y units of another quantity. The quantities X and Y are the terms of the ratio. You use ratios to make comparisons. The ratio of the number of squares to the number of circles is 4 to 3. You can also write this ratio as 4:3. Write 2 different ratios to compare the number of headphones and the number of portable music players.
One thing that we need to do is we need to figure out how many headphones and how many portable music players we have. So first we can just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to write down the number 5. That's headphones. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is our portable music players. So I can write a ratio of 5 to 6. And remember, I can use that colon. I can also write the word 2, 5 to 6. And have that be accurate as well. Another thing that it wants us to do, because it says write 2 different ratios to compare, is understand that depending on how you read it, you could also write that the ratio is 6 to 5. This first ratio that I wrote is the ratio of headphones to portable music players. And the second ratio that I wrote is the portable music players to headphones. How you say it depends on how you write it. So this first one I said headphones first, so headphones was my first number. And the second ratio I said portable music players first, so the 6 represents portable music players, and I write that one first. Moving on to the Got It problem for part 1.
Write the ratio of the number of fish to the number of plants.
The correct answer is B, 10 to 7. Ratio of fish to plants, I would count my fish first, and there are 10 of them. Then I would count my plants, and there are 7 of them. So it's 10 to 7. Moving on to part 2.
You toss a coin 12 times and get 7 heads. Write the ratio of the number of heads to the number of tails.
So you toss a coin 12 times, you get 7 heads, and I want to write a ratio of the number of heads to the number of tails. So the first number in my ratio is going to be number of heads, which I know is 7. I can write my colon. And then I need to figure out the number of tails. Well, this does not tell me the number of times it gets tails. It tells me how many times they toss the coin. So if you did 12 minus 7, you would get what's left, knowing that out of the 12 times you tossed the coin, 7 times were heads, which would mean the 5 other times that you tossed it would have been tails. So my ratio is 7 to 5. Moving on to our part 2 Got It problem.
You have read 20 books from a series of 23 books. Write the ratio of the number of books you have not read to the number of books you have read.
Our correct answer is C, 3 to 20. Here is the explanation of how I got the answer, 3 to 20. You can pause the video and read through this if you need to take the time to understand.
You can use ratios to compare one part to another part, or to compare a part to the whole.
First up, we have part-to-part ratios.
The ratio of the number of round blue beads to the number of oval red beads is 4 to 3. The ratio of the number of oval red beads to the number of round blue beads is 3 to 4.
So these are the ratios that we've been talking about in part 1 and part 2. It's a part-to-part ratio. Another example would be how many boys in the class to how many girls are in the class. We also have part-to-whole ratios.
The ratio of the number of round blue beads to the total number of beads is 4 to 7. The ratio of the number of oval red beads to the total number of beads is 3 to 7.
So now we're looking at the ratio as a part, and our whole is going to be the total amount we have. So another example, rather than the beads, is how many boys are in the class compared to how many total students are in the class. Last, we have whole to part ratios.
The ratio of the total number of beads to the number of round blue beads is 7 to 4. The ratio of the total number of beads to the number of oval red beads is 7 to 3.
So this is very similar to our part to whole ratio. It's just now we have our whole number first and the part number second. Another example is how many students are in the class to how many girls are in the class. Moving on to our last part.
The table shows the results from the 6th grade election for class president. You can write different ratios to describe the election results. The table shows the results from the 6th grade election for class president. Determine whether each statement is true or false.
So the ratio of votes for Jordan to total votes is 10 to 35. Is this true or false? The ratio of votes for Devin to votes for Jordan is 10 to 20. The ratio of votes for Micah to total votes is 5 to 30. The ratio of votes for Devin to votes for Micah is 20 to 5. And the ratio of total votes to votes for Devin is 35 to 20. We can check our answers. Awesome job. So, to explain any of this, Jordan to total votes, Jordan had 10, and if we added all of these together, we would get 35. Devin to Jordan, Devin has 20, Jordan has 10. Devin's name was first, so this is false because it's not 10 to 20, it should be 20 to 10. This one is incorrect because the total number is not 30. If we counted all of this together, we would get 35, and then the last two were true. Here's our part 3 got it problem.
In a class, 15 students are wearing sneakers, 10 students are wearing boots, and 5 students are wearing sandals. Write the ratio of the number of students wearing sneakers to the total number of students.
The correct answer is 15 to 30. I get that because 15 students are wearing sneakers, and then total number of students. 15 plus 10 is 25, plus 5 is 30. So 15 to 30. Here is our last got it problem.
Determine whether the following statement is always, sometimes, or never true. Explain your reasoning. Suppose you have a basket of fruit. Let A to B equal the ratio of the number of apples to the number of bananas. Then the ratio of the number of apples to the total number of pieces of fruit in the basket is A to A plus B.
So again, you're going to tell me if this is always true, sometimes true, or never true, and explain why you think that. So the statement is sometimes true. If apples and bananas are the only type of fruit in the basket, then that would make it true. However, if there are other fruit in the basket, just having A plus B to show the total number of fruit would make the statement false. That's all for 10-1. Again, we were working with ratios. Hopefully it wasn't too difficult for you, but if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to come to class ready to ask them, and we will work through this together.